Hello and welcome, my name is Wootdini and today we are going to be taking an in-depth overview of the HP ProBook X360 435 G8, and I'd like to thank both HP as well as Pinnacle for sending me this unit in order to be able to give you this in-depth overview. But even though we're looking at one specific unit today, please note that there are other configurations available. Now, in order to jump straight into it, we're going to start off by looking at the design. Let's start off with the design. Now, sustainability is extremely important to HP, so therefore from the packaging all the way through to the laptop unit itself, a large portion of its makeup is made from recycled materials. The laptop chassis is made from brushed aluminium, which does contribute to longevity, but also has a natural protection against leaving fingerprint marks all over the notebook. Looking at weight and dimensions, this laptop comes in at 1.45 kilograms and the dimensions are 30.85 by 22.89 by 1.79. As is in the name, it is an X360, so therefore the laptop has a full 360-degree rotation, so you can use it as a normal notebook or laptop, as well as use it as a tablet. Talking about the input outputs, this does have a micro SD card reader as well as two USB 3.1 Gen 1s located on either side. It does have HDMI 1.4b, which supports 4K at 30 Hz, and lastly, it does have USB Type-C charging. The display is a 13.3-inch Full HD touchscreen with IPS level display and bright view. It is further protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 5, as well as it is 250 nits with a 45% NTSE rating. The keyboard is spill resistant as well as very durable, but it also has backlit display for those working in darker environments. Moving on to the features, and I do have to bring up a video for this because this has a 2048 pressure touchscreen with integrated palm rejection technology. Now, as you can see when using the pen, if you're pushing softer, it leaves lighter lines, and if you're pushing harder, it leaves darker lines, but it must be noted that this depends on the type of software that's being used. Moving on to the cameras as spoken about in design, the primary camera is a 720p IR camera, and the secondary camera, or the world camera, that is for taking images. Now, this has a 5 megapixel camera, and I'll show you the quality of some of the images that it took. So really cool for it to have two cameras and choice in that. Further on features, this laptop goes through 19 specific mil-grade 810H tests for durability. So that gives one level of comfort to know that the laptop that we are acquiring has gone through rigorous testing and will stand the test of time. Lastly, on features, this laptop charges via USB-C with the 45-watt charger that comes with the laptop. Moving on to software, this laptop does come with a full bouquet of HP software, anything from connection optimization through to noise cancellation. It also does have a self-healing BIOS, but all of the software just makes life a lot more easier in managing your computer and keeping it in a healthy working order. Moving on to security, in an ever-mobile world, we are exposed to more and more threats when we are leaving the safety of our firewalls and networks at both home and work. So for this very reason, HP has taken this extremely seriously and developed protection from the BIOS all the way through to the operating system. Touching a little bit more on security, this laptop does come with HP Wolf protection, and that means that it has multiple layers, including HP Sure Start, HP Sure Click, as well as HP Sure Sense. Another added layer of protection, it does have an infrared camera with Windows Hello for both facial recognition as well as fingerprint access. There is also a privacy filter that is located on the frontal facing camera. Lastly, on security, this laptop does have a TMP 2.0 chip embedded into the PCB. Onto specifications, and starting with the CPU. Now, this has a massively powerful Ryzen 7 5800U, which is based off of the Zen 3 7nm architecture. Its total cache is 20 megabytes. It has 8 cores and 16 threads, and the TDP is a low 15 watts, which actually adds or contributes to battery life. It starts off on 1.9 gigahertz and boosts all the way up to 4.4 gigahertz, which means that during low priority tasks, the battery will last longer, but it does have the power should you need it. Lastly, it does come with Radeon Vega graphics that are integrated into the CPU. Onto the RAM, this laptop comes standard with 8 GB of RAM and 1 DIMM slot. Now there are 2 DIMM slots, which means you can have dual channel, and it supports up to 32 GB in dual channel. So especially for those who like to use tasks or bigger documents, especially in Excel. Moving on to the battery, this is a 45 watt-hour 3-cell lithium-ion battery. Now, while that may sound small, it is a small form factor laptop. With the CPU contributing with a default of 15 watt TDP, the consumption is actually quite low and can get up to 17 hours of use before having to recharge. Also coming default is a Samsung 256 GB SSD that is an NVMe SSD, which is also upgradable should you need more space. In connection, this does have a Wi-Fi 5, so 802.11 AC, as well as Bluetooth 5. Lastly, on specifications, it does have 2 speakers that are each 2 watts and does output a nice and clear sound. Low bass, but good clarity. It is time to wrap up and finish. This laptop for a use case scenario can accommodate anybody in a low-level administrative position all the way up to a CEO of a company, just depending on the type of tasks that you're doing. If you are doing higher demanding tasks, it is advisable to upgrade the RAM, and if you are needing more storage, you would need to upgrade the storage. But overall, it is an extremely versatile and well put together machine, especially with that AMD processor. It really does perform. There are multiple configs, each with different CPUs, different RAM, different SSDs. So if you are interested to know about all the different offerings that HP does have on the AMD SKUs, you can go to the HP website, or better, contact Pinnacle for more information through either giving them a call or sending an email through the website. Thank you so much for watching this. I do hope this was educational and you have found out a lot more about the G8. If you do have any questions specifically for me, I will be able to answer them in the comment section below. Alternatively, I will leave a couple of links where you can find extra information.